substations of Unit 6 under switchgear and protection of 5th semester. The course outcome of this session is knowledge on substations, classifications, indoor and outdoor substations. So the objectives of this session is, first we will see the definition of substation. Second is the classification of substations. Third, indoor and outdoor substations. And fourth, various units involved in substations. So this is session number 47, and in this session we are concentrating or focusing on indoor and outdoor substations and also the various units of substations. First we will see what is a substation. The substation, this is an arrangement or assembly of operators used to change some characteristics of electrical supply. So this is called as a substation. So whenever you change some of the characteristics of electrical supply, so for that we call it as an substation. So it may be the voltage or voltage magnitude, it may be AC to DC conversion, or it may be the frequency, or it may be the power factor. See, whenever you change these parameters or these characteristics, see for that assembly or for that arrangement, we call it as a substation. So next is site selection. So the selection of site for substation. See, for this, the points considered for selection of site for substations are: one, it should be located at the center of gravity of load or load centers. Second is, it should be easily accessible. Third, it should be easily operated and maintained. And fourth, it should involve minimum capital investment or minimum capital cost. See, these are all the basic points we are considering for the selection of site for construction of substation. One is, it should be at center of gravity of load center, easy accessible, operation and maintenance should be easy, and it should involve minimum capital investment or minimum capital cost. Next we will see what are the classifications of substation. The two most important ways of classifications are according to, one, the service requirements, and second, the constructional features. So this is called the basic classifications under substation or the substations. First we will see what are the constructional features. On constructional feature, a substation has many components which must be housed or kept properly to ensure continuous and reliable service. According to the constructional features, the substations are classified as, one as indoor substations and the second as outdoor substations. So this is the basic classifications under today's session or the today's discussion. First we will see what is an indoor substation. For voltages up to 11 kilovolts, the equipments of the substation are installed within the four walls or indoor because of economical consideration or economic considerations. When the atmosphere is contaminated with impurities, these substations can be erected for a voltages up to 66. So in the power system, we got a different voltage magnitudes. It starts with 1.1, then 3.3, then 6.6, then 11 kilovolts, 33 kilovolts, 66 kilovolts, 110 kilovolt, 220 kilovolt, 400 kilovolt. So the indoor substations which are involved for voltage magnitudes of 11 kilovolts, and in some conditions, some special conditions, we can go up to 33 kilovolts. So whenever your house are kept the equipments up to 66, say for them are that can be classified as indoor substation. So outdoor substation, so next classification is outdoor substation. Voltages beyond 33 kilovolts, the equipment is invariably installed outdoor. For such voltages, the clearance between the conductors and the space required for switches, circuit breakers and other equipments becomes high. So it is not economical to install these equipments indoor. So whenever the voltage magnitudes are beyond 33 kilovolts, so that can be housed or kept outside our yard. So therefore those classifications we can classify it as an outdoor substation. So where the clearance between the conductors and the space required for switches and circuit breakers, it is important. So therefore these are placed or kept in yard or outdoor. So then we'll see what are the comparison between indoor and outdoor substations. So serial number, then a particular outdoor substation and indoor substation. One is space required. So this is the particular where we are comparing the indoor and outdoor substation. The space required, it should be more in case of an outdoor substation and it is less in indoor substation, because the clearance between the conductors, because of the voltage magnitude, it is more in case of outdoor substation. But whereas in case of an indoor substation, where we are going for a voltage magnitude of 11 kilovolt and the space between the conductors, it is said to be less. Second point we are considering is the time required for erection of substation. So the time required in case of outdoor substation, it is less, because where we can go for easy movement, and whereas in case of an indoor substation, the time required for erection is said to be more. The future expansion or future extension, it is easy in case of an outdoor substation, and the indoor substation, it is very difficult. The fault location, so that is another point where we are comparing. The fault location, it is easy in case of outdoor substation. Yeah, it is much difficult because of the space constraint, whereas in case of your indoor substation. The capital investment for outdoor substation, it is less, and whereas the capital investment for indoor substation, it is high. The operation is difficult in case of outdoor substation, whereas the operation is easy for indoor substation. Possibility of fault escalation, it is less in case of your outdoor substation, and it is high for indoor substations. Next we'll see what are the switch gears. The switch gear, it is a general term given for all the associated equipments that come for power system. So therefore the switch gear, it is a combination of equipments associated with the fault clearing process. So whenever you talk about power system, the power system always operates under two modes of operation. One is a normal mode of operation, and second is the abnormal mode of operation. So this abnormal mode of operation, it is also called as a fault mode, or it is also called as the unhealthy mode. So the switch gears will play a vital role when the power system, it is said to be under abnormal mode, or it is said to be under the fault mode. So the switch gear, since it is a general term given for the fault clearing process or equipments for fault clearing process, the switch gears, which includes the switches, fuses, circuit breakers, isolator, relays, control system, then lightning arresters and instrumentation transformers, etc. So next see what are the various units in substation. So circuit breaker, it is a integral part for the power system. So this is the pictorial view of circuit breaker. Circuit breaker, again it can be defined as, so this is an arrangement or a device which is used to make or break the electrical circuit under all conditions, such as no load, then full load and fault condition or short circuit condition. The no load is one where the amount of load current it is said to be 0 or I is equal to 0. Full load is one where the amount of current is equal to the rated value, or abnormal or fault condition is one where the fault current it is about 5 times the rated value. So the classifications under circuit breaker based on interrupting medium. One has the air blast circuit breaker. So in air circuit breaker, we got two classifications. One is air at normal pressure and air at high pressure. So the second classification is oil circuit breaker. Third is the vacuum circuit breaker, and fourth the sulfur hexafluoride or SF6 circuit breaker. See, all these classifications based on interrupting medium. So where we are using air as an interrupting media, or oil as an interrupting medium, then a vacuum as an interrupting medium, or the sulfur hexafluoride gas as interrupting medium. So this is our actual picture of GOS, or it is group operating switch. It is generally known as, or popularly known as GOS. The GOS, it can be defined as a switch used to close or open a circuit only under no load conditions. So this is an arrangement. This acts as a switch which can be closed or which can be opened only during the no load conditions. So the GOS, it can be operated either manually or with the help of motor. It is called a motorized GOS. So this is the pictorial view of earthing switch. So this earthing switch, again it is a switch, it is normally open, and this is used to connect between earth and conductor. The switch under closed condition discharges the electrical charge available on the linkage lines. So this is the only purpose of earthing switch we are using in the substations. So this is the pictorial view of lightning arresters. So the lightning arrestor, a device, it is connected between line and ground to discharge a surge voltage to the ground or earth. So this is the function of lightning arrestor. The lightning arrestor are located at the ends of lines. The energy due to the surges are diverted to the earth and causes no damage to the equipments or the associated equipments. So current transformer and potential transformer, it is generally known as the instrumentation transformer. So these two we are using in order to measure the current and voltage. First, let us see what is a current transformer, and this is popularly known as CT. So this is an instrumentation transformer used to step down the current from high value to the low value. So this is the function of CT. So this is an instrumentation transformer used to step down the current from high value to low value. With the primary of CT is in series with the lines, the secondary can be connected to the ammeter or the protective relays or the control system circuits. So this is the function of current transformer. In order to measure the actual current, we have to go for reduction of current value. So that can be done by using the CT or current transformer. So the next unit in instrumentation transformer is potential transformer. So this is once again popularly known as PT. So an instrumentation transformer, PT, is used to step down the voltage. So again, as in case of your CT, the primary of PT is connected between the line and ground, and the secondary can be connected to the voltmeter in order to record the actual voltage, protective relays, and the control system. So therefore, both the CT and the PT we are using in order to go for measurement of current and voltage. So next is relays. So the relays will play a vital role in case of power system protection. So these are all the different relays we are using in power system protection. So this can be called as relays or protective relays. Relays can be defined as, or the protective relays can be defined as, a device operates under abnormal conditions to initiate the action for opening of circuit breaker. So as you know that the circuit breaker, it is a switch which can be used to make or break the electrical circuit under all conditions. So in order to sense the abnormality of the power system, it needs associated devices. So that associated devices, we call it as an relays or the protective relays. So these protective relays, again, it should have some basic requirements. So the basic requirements are, one as sensitivity. This already discussed in protective relays. One as sensitivity, then selectivity, speed of operation, then economical considerations, and also the simplicity. So the most common electrical hazard against which the protection is required is the short circuit, because the short circuit, it is the uh, electrical hazard or common electrical hazard where we want to protect the power system from the short circuit. So the other conditions like the under voltage, over voltage, then open phase, then unbalanced phase currents, direction of power flow, under frequency, over temperature, for which protection is required or desired. See, for these purpose also we can go for, or we are using the relays. The relays may sense the voltage magnitudes higher than or the lower than the voltage, so that it can be given as under voltage or over voltage. So it can also give the open phase indication, and it will also give the unbalanced phase currents. It will give the direction of power flow. It will give the indication for under frequency or the over frequency, and also it will give the indication for temperature beyond the ambient value, that we call that it can be referred as the over temperature. So these are the few assessment questions we are using for substation. The question number 1, a substation dash some characteristic of electrical supply. So the question is, a substation dash some characteristic of electrical supply. 1 changes, B differences, C adds, D none of the above. So basically the substation, it will changes some characteristics of electrical supply. Therefore the solution for this question is changes. Question number 2, the outdoor substation requires dash space. So the options are A more, B less, C more or less, D none of the above. So in case of outdoor substation, the clearance between the conductors should be more. So hence the space required for outdoor substations, it needs more space or it needs large space. So hence the solution for this is more. The outdoor substation requires more space. Question number 3, an indoor substation is dash expansive than outdoor substation. A more, B less, C more or less, D none of the above. The indoor substation is less expensive than the indoor substation, because we are using the indoor substation for the voltage magnitudes up to 11 kilovolts, that it can be given as low voltage. So hence the solution for this is less. An indoor substation is less expensive than outdoor substation. Question number 4, the most of substations in the power system change dash in electrical supply. The most of the substations we are using in the power system changes dash in the electrical supply. The options are A current, B voltage, C frequency, and D, 4 factor. the most of the substations in the power system changes only the voltage magnitudes, because we have seen in the power system where the voltage magnitude starts with 11 and ends with 11, in between these two, so we have got a different voltage magnitudes. So therefore the most of the substations in the power system change in voltage. So hence the solution for this question is B, that is voltage. Next is the ideal location for substation would be at. The options are no load, full load, C, off full load, D, center of gravity of load. See, when you go for a site selection for substation, see the ideal location for any substation, it should be at the center of gravity of load center. So therefore, the ideal location for substation would be at the center of gravity of load center. So the solution for this is D, that is option D, that is center of gravity of load. Next is underground substations are generally located in dash. The options are A, villages, B, industries, C, suburban areas, D, thickly populated area. So generally we are going for underground substations only in thickly populated area where the space constraint is there. So therefore the underground substations are generally located in D, thickly populated area. So hence the solution for the underground substation is generally located in thickly populated area. So the solution is D. So in this session we were discussing on basics of definition for substation, classification of substation, and various units involved in the substation. So this is our team headed by Dr. K. Tippeswamy and Srimati D. Aruna. Thank you.